recording. And in networks. Recording. See that.
ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. Happy evening, everyone. Am I audible? I don't know exactly what is going on. I'll kickstart within 5 minutes. Please bear with us. Just 5 minutes. Start within 5 minutes. Please bear with us. Just 5 minutes.
Share screen.
Right. Happy evening once again. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. It's very happy and momentous moment for me to come online and have a chat with you. ನನಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Here and there I'll use it, but if you can make it out, it'll be good. And here and there I may do mistakes. Please bear with me. Wherever I want to strike a point in local language, I'll try my best to do justice, right? Thank you. First of all, the main motto of coming online is to reach everybody at one point of time, and whatever we just wanted to convey, ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಸೇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ನಿಶ್ಚಯ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಮೊದಲಾಗಿ today we kick-started distributing all the school uniforms or shoes or notebooks or textbooks, all these things. We have done our level best. But yes, I do feel that there might be some glitches here and there because it was over-flooded, and few parents would have felt it very tough to get their, their turn or whatsoever. And here and there, of course, we tried our level best to reach everybody and to do justice what we want to do. But yes, everything has a point to better it, right? So sky is the limit for the excellence. We do believe in it. This is one thing. Secondly, if at all at the mid of this session, if any technical glitch happens, definitely we'll reschedule this for some other time. But I hope so. Nothing goes wrong throughout the session. It will be more or less some 40 minutes session will be. So it's very interesting, and this is mainly because of how the school is going to function and what is our motive behind it, and why did we just wanted to convey this to the parents community, and what is that we have our idea and what is our brainchild to make the learning and teaching process more vibrant, because we purely believe in that a child miseducated is a child lost. So we are absolutely subscribing to the same, and that is our core element. No child should be left alone, and it's called as inclusive education, and every child we make sure that we reach them, and that is the main motive of our schooling, in fact. So I'll be sharing my PPT presentation, and very shortly I'll share the PPT presentation, and what is that we are going to convey to you. It is all put in black and white. You can just go through that. On each and every bullet I'll speak and I'll strike my point, what is the idea of this institution, and we as teaching fraternity, what is that we want to convey, and what is that we want to bestow to our children. I'll just speak on that, right? Thank you. Yes. Second slide. Right. So the entire presentation is divided into 14 slides, and in that the welcome address has gone down, and the 13 slides speak different volume of it. The first one deals with the school timings and discipline, academics, projects and activities, exams, internals, class division, co-curricular activities, that is house-wise, and sports and games, events, and your stakeholders, I mean to say, parents' grievances and visiting hours, field trips and education tours, and the CBSE board exams, right? we'll switch on to the first slide, that is the school timings. Next slide. Yeah. So this year we thought to start the school a bit early. Reason being, there's a complaint from the parents community that the communication through children were not done properly. So the only medium of instruction to communicate with the parents and the children and teacher is through diaries only. So we couldn't squeeze or we couldn't milk the diary timings. Keeping this in view, we have pushed the school hours a bit early, and the entire school hours, that is 8 periods, will be closing or ending by 3:20. From 3:20 to 3:30, 10 minutes we have reserved for class teachers signing their diaries. And if at all, if the class teacher wants to convey anything through the diary about the child or whatsoever, that will be used for the children, and that is used for the parents community to interact, right? So please make sure that follow this timetable so that it will be very good to us, only to enhance the communication quality. So the school starts by 9 o'clock, and 9 o'clock to 9:20 it is assembly. So it's a humble request to the parents community to start or to be on school campus by 8:45. Maximum it can be at 8:55. Please don't go beyond that. Speak to your private players also. I mean to say the drivers who is fetching your children to the school. Please speak to them. And I also spoke to them and said what is the main motive of all this stuff, and they also agreed for it. And 8:45, all the vans or our school buses and autos or private transportation or conveyance, whatever you call it as, they have to be here on the campus by 8:45. If not, maximum is 8:55. So dot 9 o'clock we start with the assembly proceedings, and it has 20 minutes of duration. And the first period starts by 9:20 and ends by 10. And each period has 40 minutes of slot. And at 10:40 to 10:50 we have a short break, followed by the third period and fourth period and fifth period. You can see the timings it is given there. And the lunch break is of half an hour, 12:50 to 1:20. So sixth period goes by 1:20 to 2, and 2 o'clock to 2:40 is the seventh, and 2:40 to 3:20 is the last and final period, that is eighth period. And followed by 3:20 to 3:30, it is a class teacher's diary signature. So whatever the school activity has registered that day, the teacher will register or communicate to the parents through this time what we have allotted. Only to have this piece of 10 minutes of time frame, we have moved the prayer proceedings from 9:05 to 9 o'clock. So this is about the school timings. Next slide, please. So coming to this discipline. So discipline is the core element of anybody to achieve anything in their lives. Without this, nothing is possible. Discipline is the core element, right? So, and at the very first point, without discipline, there is nothing in students' life. And that too, at the primitive ages of children, they need to inculcate this habit. As Dr. Abdul Kalam time and again says this, India's future lies at schools, especially at primary level. So this is the area where they have to come across every dimension of the life, be it coming to the school, wearing uniforms, or taking the pledge, or singing national anthem, or following the times of the school, and sitting in the classroom, how to behave, how to not to behave, what to speak, what not to speak, how to eat, how not to eat. So every phase of human existence is inculcated at the very school level. So that is why Dr. Kalam very specifically pinpointed that school is the place where we can shape citizens of any nation for that matter. So in this regard, the following points, what we have put on the slide, speaks the volume of it. Attendance, the very first point, attendance, ದಿನಗಳು ಬರಲೇಬೇಕು ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಗೆ. So without any genuine reason, students can't stay at home. And getting up, getting ready, and buckling up, coming to the school itself is an education. My humble submission to all the parents community is that don't think that only subject and writing exams and scoring marks is the primary concern of education. The very getting up from the bed itself is an education. From there, the schooling starts. So please don't think that school is not teaching anything on this specific day, so my child can stay back at home. If you do that, children will stick or crawl on the bed. It is sheer waste. The very morning when they get up from the bed is itself an education. So turnouts, everybody must be coming to school, must come to school neatly dressed up, nicely pressed clothes and nicely washed. And we have introduced the uniforms that is white. White symbolizes the purity, right? And we also have to show to everybody that we maintain our dignity. And purely it stands for the symbolism of we are clean and we know how to maintain. That's what. To live life, it has to have certain design. Only then we can do it, right? Hairstyles. When I speak hairstyles, it is quite noticed, very, very bizarre, especially boys. They have mushroom cuttings, pineapple cuttings, and drawing lines on the forehead or else on the scalp of the child. It is absolutely not advisable. No military cutting or whatsoever. Humble and gentle cutting must be there on children. Any misadventure of this will be taken for the highest task. And girls, no fancy hairstyles, no puffing and all. It's a standing instruction. Nobody should resort to weird hairstyles. School is a place where everybody will notice, and in fact, it speaks the volume of the institution. And fourth point, chewing gums or chewing anything for that matter when the class is going on. No child should do this activity. And we have noticed that last year, many students chewed the gums and they stick it on the benches. And when other students go to the classroom and write the exams, it is sticking and damaging their clothes. So this is very, very high time that they have to ignore this habit. And while the class is going on, nobody should chew anything. And without the notice of the teacher, nobody should misbehave in the classroom. Punctuality. So punctuality, we have noticed that students coming at 9:05, 9:10, 9:20 also. Not at all possible. If everything, have a time for everything, do everything in its time. I repeat, have a time for everything, do everything in its time. If we don't respect your time, then the time will teach you a lesson. So punctuality is the core element. Tomorrow, if you grow as elders or adults, they must know how to stick on to the time. Say, for example, you have a flight to board at 11 o'clock. How will you go then? Unless and until you didn't practice at the school level, you never ever have that commitment to go to the airport at that time. So punctuality is taken to the highest priority. And medium of instruction. When we say that the CBSE or any English medium school for that matter, medium of instruction is English. And on this note, I take it very serious. We take it very serious for that matter. No child is allowed to speak in English, speak in local language, that is, can be Kannada or Hindi or whatsoever. On the campus, of course, last year it was not there. And to introduce that, it was a tough time and we were in the middle of the session. We couldn't mend it. Now coming session, it's going to be very, very stringent. And all the students must have resort to speak only or communicate only or converse only in English. No other language is allowed. Yes, Kannada period, Hindi period, they can speak in the language which is taught in the classroom. Otherwise, it's a standing instruction and we are very, very stringent on that. Exam etiquettes. When children or students go to write the exam, they have to follow and copy the sanctity of the examination. No malpractices, no papers or whatsoever. Keeping the chits in the washrooms, putting the small chits in the shoelaces or whatsoever is absolutely taken for the highest task. This cannot be tolerated at all. And bullying. So any school administrator, student administrator, I mean to say, or any leader for that matter, or any powerful boy in a class or a girl shouldn't show the power on any meek child. No ragging, no bullying, no abusive language. It's very, very serious. Everybody must must maintain the decorum of the school and wearing costly items, no gold, no silver, no gadgets as well, no mobile phones, no iPads, no earpads, no mobiles, and no digital watches as well. You can say that we have wore the watch to check the times of the examination, but no, exams should not have. What's it? Fine, okay. So this is one thing, and one more thing: shouldn't loiter or linger on the corridors or in the washroom. We find students moving here and there, doing errands in the corridors and in the washrooms, just spilling the water on each other. Washrooms or corridors are not picnic spots. Unless and until there's a general timing, you should not be spotted there. And children also are having a bad practice that after every period, they have a habit of coming out of the class. This is not at all encouraged. Following the next point, we notice that students coming in private vehicles, I mean to say motorbikes or whatsoever. Children should not ride motor vehicles. And parents, it's my humble request, don't send your children in motorbikes. They are not majors and they don't possess a driving license, so it is going against the law. If at all, if you have any problem with the conveyance, take bicycles. It's good for health and it's good for everything. No motor vehicles. And following the next point, shouldn't leave the school without permission. Students have a habit, once their family members come in the post lunch or pre lunch, half days and all are not admitted or encouraged. Everybody must be, if the school hours is 9 to 3:30, it is their standing instruction to stick to that timetable. Coming to the following point, birthday attires. I mean to say the dress. Students must wear decent dress on the birthdays. Girls in specific, we have noticed that wearing gowns or petticoats or whatsoever, I don't understand what is that they call it as, gowns or frocks above the knees is not advised. Any attire must be below the knees. Should not wear half sleeves or sleeveless tops or whatsoever. Ripped jeans, t-shirts, tight fittings, not allowed. Humble, gentle, acceptable, pleasant attire you should wear. Or else, if you are uncomfortable in wearing such kind of a dress, please come in uniform. We'll be happy for it. On birthdays, should wear nice and pleasant dress. It should be acceptable in every walks of human life. Right? Thank you. Next slide. So academics, how we see academics. Flow of the period, we have 40 minutes to flow of the period. And first 5 minutes we allot for recapitulating the previous class and what we have learned in the previous class. Just a recollection of what are the contents that we have dealt, I mean to say the teacher and the students. And the main objective of what is that specific period, what is the teacher is trying to convey to the students community. In fact, in our lesson plans, our teachers have written on every period, what is the objective, what is the outcome of that specific period. So with that notion, we get into that. And language and core subjects, yes, core subject can be empowered or elevated to the greater pedestal, only they have a great command on languages. We have a wrong fiction or wrong assumption that languages can be ignored. My dear parents and teachers also, languages play a vivid role in students' life. Without languages, there is no subject. Subject can be elevated only if the language is pure, and only when the language is pure, subjects can be learned. They both are interlinked together. It's a chain, right? And following to the next bullet, creative teaching. So we resort to a maximum because we have different kinds of teaching patterns, teaching styles, and students with the different abilities of learning. We also call it as aesthetic learning and kinesthetic learning. And there are different patterns of students who will learn things in a different pattern, like visual aids, speaking, listening, writing. So taking all this into consideration, our teaching patterns, we resort what is the best way for imparting that specific period, that specific topic. And the following point speaks about inclusive education, which means that we try to reach each and every child in the classroom. Not that high achievers are there or moderate achievers are there or the workshop learners are there and we can ignore or we can give a special attention towards them. It is not that as such. Everything is clear and we make our maximum effort and we leave no stone unturned. We make every possible way to reach every child, to make teaching and learning more effective. And in this process, what activity can be more effective to convey this topic or this chapter or lesson? We resort to projects, activities, and field trips. Say, for example, if we are speaking about history, what is the most monumental structures that we have here? We go and visit in the form of field trips. And if it is about speaking about geography conditions, what are the different patterns of layers that we can have it very near? We go by field trips, and we also ask the children to present a project, like 3 or 4 students in a house wise. So it is absolutely 360 degree learning, not just one area that we just wanted to focus. It is everywhere. What are the outcomes that we see is absolutely, we are full well of it. And when we come to speak about running notes, up to fifth grade, they can have the classworks. I mean to say notes. But in the same case, in the case of sixth to 10th, we are giving a printed material. Excuse me. Printed material, when we say that all the subjects, all the textual exercises, whatever it is there, our teachers have toiled too much and we have put it in black and white. And very shortly, we were supposed to supply to the students community right from 6th grade to 10th grade, only to squeeze more time and to devote more time to teaching in the classroom. Because one chapter after teaching it and to give notes, it is taking 3 to 4 periods, wherein the working days is going to be lessened or compressed. So we wanted more for classroom teaching. That is why this is given. And you might be in assumption that if students don't have these writing patterns or writing habit, they may fall short when they present their answer scripts. For that, we have a running notes or patterns, note making. In fact, that is also part of internal marks. We call it as a portfolio. That is the art of note making. So notes we have, in spite of giving printed notebooks, we call it as a beam, customized note also. So students, one chapter will have 3 pattern of it, 3 styles of it. One is, we say it as mind map or pictorial depiction or a flow chart or a pie chart or a data interpretation, whatsoever. That is one thing. Second thing is that the synopsis or upshot of a lesson. Third thing, followed by VBQ, we call it as value-based question or else open-ended questions. So these 3 styles are followed to make the child to understand in-depth analysis of the topic which is taught by the teachers. So this is the pattern of note making. In spite of, this is external actually. In spite of giving a printed material, children have to follow these 3 patterns in a note making, right? This is also art of note making, which also facilitates teachers to assess tools to award internal marks. Hope you understood. Thank you. Next slide. So projects and activities, we have done class division also. So in the projects and activities, that class division, what we have done, it is going to facilitate and help us to execute the idea of projects and activities. And to say or to throw light upon the area what we are discussing now is this facilitates students to more understanding rather than monotonous lecture method or just a teacher taking a chalk piece and defining the characters or whatsoever. Projects and activities make the children to understand the in-depth analysis or the nuances of the product what they are dealing with. So what is the projects and activities? We have working models and multiple assessment. So multiple assessment means, for example, if if a if a physics teacher is teaching about light, so a set of students from a house will come and give a seminar. So when the students present a seminar, what are the things or rubrics or parameters that the teacher can take into account to award the marks to that group? That's called as multiple assessment. It also can be, if it is in the language case, it can be subject enrichment activity, or else for that matter, anything for that matter, any subject or any topic can be taken into consideration for assessing multiple assessment. Any area can be assessed, followed by subject enrichment activity, which is nothing but, say for example, Kannada. Storytelling is there. So how good the intonation or modulation of the child is there, that we will assess it. And that's what I said. It is done through seminars. It can be individual also. It also can be group wise. So house-wise presentation, as I said, and we also are going to introduce pep talks. That is going to be on contemporary issues. We will be sending messages to the students community on what topic that pep talks are designated to on specific days. And ASL, it is purely earmarked for languages, assessment of speaking and listening. So all the languages, we also have this domain to understand what are the abilities, the skills of the students of speaking and listening. So this also can be done as a group activity and peer group learning. Peer group learning is nothing but children understanding their own friends and facilitating each other. So students will have greater opportunity and feasibility and comfortableness when they go and speak to their own friends. So peer group learning is one of the sphere where children themselves discuss and do things. So in this regard, the high achiever will guide the low achievers or workshop learners or different pattern styles of the students who are of different styles. So this will facilitate them to understand. And art integration is a research-based learning, which is introduced by CBSE very recently. One state is coupled with the other state, and we start researching about the geographical conditions or their cuisine or their lifestyle or the cattle or the agriculture, whatsoever it might be. It's a research-based learning which CBSE has introduced only to widen or broaden the learning process, more research-based learning rather than confining the students only to the textbook. It is going beyond the classroom. So all these things can be done very efficiently only when we have a competitive spirit and a balanced class. So to do that only, we have divided the classes into equal distribution. That I'll speak to you in the coming slide. Thank you. Next. So exams and internals, we have 2 or 3 PTs. It is home exams. So it is our wish that how the time is permitting us. We can have 2 or 3 PTs and 2 terminals. And when I say 2 terminals, one term 1 I mean to say, which falls before the Dasara vacation, right? And year-end exam, which is going to be in the month of March. So 2 terminals and 2 or 3 PTs are, as you know that in the month of June or July we'll get one, and one more, whether to have term 1 in the before that second PT, we'll see that, and based on that we'll do it. So CBSE also says that only 2 best home exams must be taken into consideration to assess the children for internals. So all the PTs, whatsoever it might be, how many we are conducting is not a matter, but we have to consider, and we will consider only 2 exams, and that will be compressed into only 5 marks internals. I'll tell you very clearly, 20 marks internals are there for the year-end exam. For example, if the examination, let me come out with this first of all. PTs, 1st to 5th standard, it is for 20 marks. And for 6th to 10th grade, it is 40 marks. Some parents were skeptical or cynical, why 20 marks? We can't make the children to sit for 3 hours. When we earmark or when we design examination, PTs, I mean to say 80 marks, we have to cater or we have to allot 3 hours for writing the exam. Children of that age cannot sit for that long. So 20 marks question paper, 1 hour is more than enough, right? And 6th to 10th grade, yes, it is 40 marks PTs, I mean to say. And when it is terminals, that is, first terminal will be somewhere before the Dasara vacation, which is of 40 marks for the first to fifth grade and 80 marks for the sixth to 10th grade. So this 80 marks and all will have 3 hours time duration. Right. Now coming to the internals, PTs for first to fifth grade, it is of 30 marks. That is 20 marks pen paper test and 30 marks internals, which together makes 50 marks. And we will compress it the way we want to have a clear picture to consolidate the marks card. And 6th to 10th grade, we have 20 marks internals. That means 40 marks pen paper test and 20 marks will conduct internals. And in that 20 marks, will compress it into 10 marks, which together makes 50 marks. And when we speak about terminals, first to fifth grade, we'll have 20 marks internals. So there they have 40 marks there, and 40, 40, 80, and 20 we make it as 100. Now that consolidation or that compressing it or contracting it, we will see based on our feasibility, how best we can do. And the terminal examination, 6th to 10th grade, as I said you earlier, 80 marks for the pen paper test and coupled with 20 internals. So 80 plus 20, it becomes 100. Now, coming to this internals, how are they allotted? In the year-end examination, what are the home examination that we have done or come across all these days? That all will be compressed into only 5 marks. PTs or home examination, the chunk or the value of that home exams apart from year-end exam is only 5%. Upon that, multiple assessment, portfolio, and SEA, subject enrichment activity. I repeat, pen paper test. I'm speaking about the year-end examination. 20 marks I'm saying it for 6th to 10th grade. Pen paper test, 5 marks. Multiple assessment, 5 marks. Subject enrichment activity, 5 marks. Portfolio, 5 marks. In the case of languages, multiple assessment can be called off and ASL come into play. So is with the juniors also. The same only. Pen paper test, what are the home examination have happened, that will be purely into the same figures only. Right? Hope you understand. We'll communicate this very clearly later on. Right? Thank you. So class division. Now this is the big point or talking point among the students community or the parents community. Why did you shuffle the classes? Why is it necessary? And most of the parents have an assumption that A section is superior. My dear parents and students, A section is not superior, or B section is not superior, or C section is not superior. Every section is the same. We can't have a team comprising all the 11 players Virat Kohli. I hope you understand. We must have a balanced team. So in each and every class, the class is divided or section is divided into 4 fragments. And we also have renamed or rechristened that houses as Brahmaputra, Ganga, Krishna, and Sindhu. So these houses, 4 houses are there in each and every class. So any activity, be it academics or cultural activities or CCA activities, we execute and make sure that this will happen through house-wise. So when the house-wise is happening, we'll have a healthy discussion and we'll have a healthy competition, and everybody will come to each other because their house want to flourish and go to higher pedestal. So in this regard, unless and until if all the sections or all the teams are equal, we can't have a balanced classroom. So in this regard, earlier it was an assumption that A section is having high achievers. We have taken all the high achievers, or C section is having a workshop learners, whatsoever, I don't know what it is. So we have shuffled it together and made sure that every class or section, every team, that is four teams are there, 4 fragments are there, and they are divided as a houses, as I said you earlier. Ella classroom nalli, ella house nalli equal representatives irutತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಒಂದು ಹೆಲ್ತಿ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಇರಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ತರ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಟೀಮ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಒಂದು ಟೀಮ್ ವೀಕ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಅವರು ಉಳಿದ ಮಕ್ಕಳೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಬಹಳ ಲೋ ಫೀಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ, ವಿ ಡಿಡ್ಂಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಚಾನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ಡ್, ಸೊ ಈ ವಿರಾಟ್ ಕೊಹ್ಲಿ is there in all the 10 teams, it will be good. Only one side full Virat Kohlis, the result is already judged. Then it becomes a dead rubber. Dead rubber means it's a sheer waste of having a play. So we have a balanced classroom and no section is high, no section is low. All the sections are equal. Only A, B, C, that's it. A, B, C all are equal. We are not going to label anything and nothing is that. And in fact, having that kind of a classroom setup, say for example, high achievers, moderate achievers, low achievers and A group. A section ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಶಾಣೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅಷ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಈ ಮಕ್ಕಳು. ಆ ಥರ ಇರುವಾಗ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಒಂದು ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಥರ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತಾನೆ ನಾವು ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಂಟು ಈಕ್ವಲ್. And we also have to give a clear picture to the teachers that every section is clear, so teach with the same volume and energy in all the sections. That is the main motive of it. There is no other idea. We just want to have a balanced classroom and class sections. That is the main idea of having it, because every activity, every learning must be as a housewise, and everything must be going in hand. Somebody is superior and somebody is inferior, they feel they are lost. So we don't want that. So and having this way, it is also good for the students that accessibility is very good. Sorry. No child is discriminated. In fact, we have one topic in social discrimination, gender discrimination, we have it. So discrimination must not be there at any juncture. Even the girls also, in one house there are 20 girls and the other house there are only 4 or 5. So it is imbalance everywhere. So taking that into consideration, keeping this in our mind, we have segregated the class sections. So it's my humble submission to the parents community, please accept this change, and this is going to be only this session. Later on 90% will remain the same. Only the new entrants will be distributed in different sections based on the TC goings and 10th class going students. So classroom division is purely done for the benefit of the school and the students at larger extent. It is for your own students' benefit of learning and teaching. Please understand. Students should not be in a fixation that all their friends are different. Now, one more thing I just wanted to strike a point here is that, my children and parents, in life, 95% of what we think will never happen. All of us must understand this. We can't have a cherry picking. We can't have what we want. So we have to understand how to live when something what we accepted or expected to happen, how to accept it and how to live without it. This is also schooling. This is also education. If everything is given to you, you don't know the value of it. And you must teach your mind that, okay, I can live with this. Because that mindset will make you to reach your goals. Because failure is expected. And only the one who celebrates his failure will understand or know how to celebrate his success. So start celebrating your pain. Start celebrating how to live without what you expected to happen. 95% what you expect will never happen. So take baby steps to know that. Never ever think that if it is this, I will do it. No, you have to know the trade, how to live without that, how to make things happen when things are not given to you. So this is my appeal to the parents community and the students also, not to resort to such kind of notion. And one child, one parent, if I entertain, there will be a queue outside my chamber. So parents, it's my humble submission, please don't come and request for your child's section changing. It is for the benefit of your child. We don't get anything from it. We just wanted the schooling to be more beautiful. This is the only intent. It is the only intention that we have, right? Thank you. Next. So co-curricular activities, what we do, apart from academics, what we do, and preparing the child. When I say preparing the child, we are not preparing the children for tomorrow's jobs. We are purely preparing and molding and sculpting the children for tomorrow's challenges. So how is it going to happen? Children, if they confined to books, if they don't have social skills, it's going to be very, very tough for them to face the life tomorrow, because the world and the society is full of challenges. And tomorrow, what is going to happen, nobody knows it. And predicting that and knowing that challenges, how we have to live with that. If a situation is given to you, if something is entering through your threshold, some danger is happening, how you have to enact. So all these things, it's a 360 learning, and we are into absolutely into the business to make our children future ready. We are just into the job to unlock the potential. We just to tap the untapped, and we just want to erase the phobia of stage or pulpit. So creating interest in every dimension. One child will be having great interest on different sphere or domain, and the other might be indifferent. But bringing them into one platform in different areas is our primary concern. And participation, we give equal participation for everybody. In fact, here and there, it may not be possible because we have a big number. We'll take cycles. So one this time, next will be the other time. And through this, we are giving them leadership qualities. And I just wanted to convey these things. Our children, last year, I mean to say, our student administrators have run the school very efficiently. My heartfelt thanks for all the last year students who have left a legacy that the coming posterities, coming generation, the juniors, to pick up the torch from that shoulders and carry on their shoulders for the legacy of this institution. So we want to build the leadership qualities. Tomorrow, they might be a team leader, they might be working with a big company, and they might be working with great subordinators or big number of subordinates. They must know how to deal with it. So we are giving them baby steps, or we are teaching them at the very school age itself. So through these co-curricular activities, we want to imbibe, instill, and inculcate and cultivate and seed them this idea into that. And empathy, compassion, concern, healthy atmosphere in the discussions or whatsoever, we just wanted to make that area to tap. And how will we do it? There are a series of activities that we have put across. Jan, just a minute. We give a topic on that. Children will come and speak for 1 minute or 2 minutes. And essay writing, seminars, cultural events, group discussions, debate, general knowledge, swift math, spelling bee, vocabulary, news reading. We have just put only few here. There are multiple lines, multiple activities in the pipeline. We'll see that we'll communicate with the students very frequently, and we'll be conveyed that well in advance so that they can prepare and come and present their activities on Saturdays. And this will purely happen on the Saturdays, right? Thank you. Next slide. So sports and games, as you know that there's a well-known saying, all books and no play makes the Jack dull boy, which means that as much as you play, it's good to you, right? So that's our priority, in fact. So we have designed and framed 2 periods in a week and mass drills on Saturdays, and we also have very good indoor games. We have chess, table tennis, billiards, all the stuff. And CBSE sports, we have CBSE clusters and Sahodaya. So athletics, football, kabaddi, table tennis, cricket, volleyball, horse riding, martial arts. And when I speak about the last point, horse riding and martial arts, we are going to allot 40 minutes after the school hours. This is exclusively apart from the school hours. After 3:30, the so-called students who are interested in this horse riding and martial arts. In fact, we have started this horse riding during vacation time. We had very nice response, and children learned, in fact, the nuances or the basics of horse riding. And horse riding is one activity which makes children to attain greater potential, right? It enhances the mood of the child, and it gives them a kind of a euphoria, right? So All these activities, sports and games are also part and parcel of our curriculum, and we'll give top priority for this because physical strength is more, and a sound mind will reside in a sound body. And only when we have a healthy body, we can have a healthy mind. And only when your mind is equanimous, you can think very calm and peace. So sports and games will ease the pressure of the students so that they can excel in the activities or the goals that they are dreaming about. Right? Thank you. So CCA activities on every Friday, as I said you in the previous slides. So we celebrate CCAs on every Saturday after second period. So third, fourth, and fifth periods are purely earmarked for it. And under that CCA activity, in the previous slides, so what are the activities that I have pinpointed? They come into force. And we also celebrate flag festivals like Independence Day and Republic Day. And my dear parents, here I just wanted to say you one thing. Flag festivals are mandatory. They are very, very mandatory. If you don't install or instill patriotism at the school level, we are losing the nation. Most of the parents have this fiction that today it's okay, Independence Day, holiday, we can stay at home. Your children will crawl on the bed until 10 o'clock and they'll have brunch. So, respect the nation, honoring the nation, knowing the sacrifices of our great leaders, and the significance of nation must be discussed at the flag festivals. And it is the primordial responsible of this nation and the citizens of it. So, unless and until flag festivals, students at school level, if they don't practice, we lose our nation. Nation first. Everything is next. Rest is next. So flag festivals, it's very, very significant. In fact, we go to some extent to give one internal mark on that. So if you don't attend, it's going to be a costly affair. So all important days and festivals we celebrate. When I say all important days, Yoga Day, Maths Day, Science Day, and Gandhi Jayanti or Ekta Divas, many events are there. We all will celebrate in important days and festivals like Dasara. In fact, we have done very beautifully in the previous session, that is Dasara vacation and Diwali. We had a good response, and in fact, that Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Prana Pratishtha also we have done. It was a wonderful response, and we also follow and practice all religious practices. There is no that we subscribe to one of Hindu mat, that we only what I can say bestow or vouch or advocate only one religion or whatsoever. School is a place where every religion must be celebrated. So we do that, and we also have plans to conduct a complete 1 week sports week very shortly. I mean to say in the month of September or October. And we also have dreams to conduct a large scale science expo. So we are going to invite major schools. In fact, if it is possible, our JSS sister schools from different towns or cities, and it's going to be a large scale. We have dreams of it, and a day in my child's school. We also have plans to invite parents to come and stay in the classroom, in their child's classroom for 1 day. So your presence will be on the campus right from dawn to dusk. That is, right, like 8:30 or 9 o'clock, parents can come, and until the school ends, you can stay here and you can notice or you can watch or you can investigate what is the entire proceedings of the school. We do it because of we are going to that extent. We are going to have a beautiful schooling wherein we can portray ourselves. ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತೋರ್ಸಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀವಿ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಂದು ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ನಡೀತದೆ, ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ಪಾಠ ಕಲಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾವ ಥರ ಪಾಠ ಕಲಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಅದು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ವಿ ಸೇ ದಟ್, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್. And we also have international inter-school MUN assembly. When I say MUN assembly, Model United Nations. So in the United Nations, which is situated in New York, children or there are delegates from each country wherein on a certain topic, every country will strike a point of their own interest. So likewise, we also have that kind of style here, calling other schools participating in debate competition, giving children, that is delegates. Delegates means nothing but allotting one country to one delegate, that is student delegate, and asking them to speak on the stand of their nation. Say, for example, let us speak on global warming. So, global warming, each child will be given, that is, child students are called as delegates, and China, India, USA, UK. So, every child will present the idea of their nation, what is the interest of their nation in terms of curbing global warming, in terms of limiting fossil fuels, or in terms of afforestation or deforestation, whatsoever it might be, the student will represent its country. And if it is about India, we can give state-wise heads, like for example, they can be the government heads, or else for example, chief minister or union minister. So, say for example, for instance, we can say what is the education system in your state. So, a state education minister will be designed as a student, and that student will speak the volume of their own state education system. So this is what we mean to say. And when I say model United Nations, MUN like assembly, it is country wise. So students will be given different designations of different nations. We are having plan for that. We'll see that how better we can go for it. It is 90% we are going for it, right? Thank you. Next. So parents grievances and visiting hours. So whatever you have, whenever we call for a PTM, please make sure that please allot some time for your child's parent-teacher interactions or meetings or whatsoever. Come and discuss what is the nuances or what is the shortcomings or pros and cons of your child, so that we can work on that and can build a healthy student or healthy learning patterns. And teachers calling hours, you might be knowing that you might be calling sometime, I mean to say some late hours or whatsoever. So it's better to stick to one time, so that teachers also are having a private life. And if you call every time, it might be a kind of a hassle for them. So please, if you are okay with this, please confine your calling times between 5 to 6. And Saturdays, if at all, if you want to have a physical meeting with a teacher, you want to have an interaction directly, please visit on Saturdays from 1 o'clock to 2 p.m. We will be happy to attend you. And if it is desperate and you want to meet the teacher's delivery, I mean, very, very important or urgent matters, on weekdays you can come after school hours, that is 3:30 to 4:15. So that is after school hours. And when I say that, I have noticed that parents going directly to the classes, that is not advisable, or it disturbs the entire proceeding. Say, for example, for instance, if parents go directly to the classes, so if the teacher is taking the class, and when you enter there, the teacher has to ignore the class students and come and attend you. Meanwhile, the students will be watching what the teacher is speaking and what the parent is speaking. So they all are unattended. So it goes crisscross, and at least 5 to 10 minutes of time will be allotted for that, which is going to be a hamper in the proceedings of the school idea. So please, if at all, if you want to speak something very, very urgent, please come and visit the office and inform the attender or anybody, admin staff sitting in office, so child, so class section, so that they fetch your child and the teacher, so that they can interact or whatsoever. So this is the method that we want to strike it, right? And we also, as I said you earlier, diary. Teachers will be using the diary for means of communication. So whatever we want to communicate to the parents, please go through with the diaries. That's what we have allotted 10 minutes for that. So parents also, maximum, as much as possible. The last acronym speaks about AMAP. That is nothing but as much as possible. Please register your idea or register your complaints or claims in that diary, so that the teacher will read it and she or he will respond to that, right? And whatever the valid inputs that you put in, we will hear you and we'll take into consideration if it is a valid point. Definitely, all hundreds we can't satisfy. On a scale of 100, when we are in the service of public, when we are discharging our duties for a society or larger number of parents, we can't satisfy all the 100, right? No doubt there will be some kind of hiccups or shortcomings or pitfalls. We try to fair it out as much as we can, right? So this is what our no, your grievances or visiting hours. Please make sure that you stick to this so that it will facilitate us to function more efficiently. That's the only thing. Thank you. So field trips and education tours, as I said you in the previous slides, field visits are nothing but in relevance to the chapter or a topic or a lesson. We see what is the most, say for example, disaster management. When we say disaster management, how to act or enact when a situation is so colossal or so confusing. So in this regard, how the fire engine, they go and visit the fire engine station. So they go and learn and they will interact the firefighters, how it is done and all. So this is nothing but field visits. And it depends when classes are dealing with about biology, plants and all. We may go to agri university. So when historic places are dealt, we may go to near places where this city has some kind of historical centers or whatsoever. And we also feel that very now and then to have a different change or different setup, we go for nature classes. In fact, we started with this in the previous session. It's very good because it gives a different mood, creates whatsoever. And in every academic calendar, students go to picnic or whatsoever to have some kind of relaxation from the hectic schedule of academics. So picnics for primary level and education tours we are planning. And this time, 9th and 10th, we have a bigger plans to go to North India and other plans are there. I don't want to reveal it so that then children start dreaming about it. And if that doesn't happen, then they may feel low. So we'll tell you what it is. And last time we have taken our children to Hyderabad. It was a grand success. And children and parents were all happy. In fact, we too were happy that we could make children happy. At the end of the day, we want our children to be happy. I repeat, at the end of the day, we want our children to be happy. And we always consider that teaching fraternity and all the staff here, we feel that we are extended parents of them. So each and every child is a seed. And we have learned the trade how to nurture that beautiful seed. Right? Thank you. Next. So this is the last slide before I sign off. This is AISSE examination, All India Senior Secondary Examination, which is CBSE. For this session, it is going to be, speculations are there, and in fact, it is almost decided. We are going to have two terminals, which might be a midterm and the year-end examination. And speculations and discussions are airing that students can consider as their final scores either of the terminals. I repeat, speculations are there, discussions are there, airing everywhere that students will attend two terminals for board examination and one can be considered as their final result. Which one they fare, that can be considered. So students must be very, very vigilant on the very first day itself. So it's very, very crucial. And we are very specific to finish our syllabi, 70% of syllabi before the Dasara vacation. So, and we are a bit skeptical because once the syllabus are done, parents and students have a notion, no need to go to school. My dear parents, we will not take any responsibility if you do so. Only when we say that it is for your preparatory exams, preparatory holidays, only then children are entitled to have holidays. Otherwise, unless and until we say no child has a license or a ribbon to stay at home. This is very, very clear. By December, we finish it. And if the exams are falling in the month of March, 2 months if you don't come to school, it's going to be a havoc. And 75% of attendance is mandatory to score a point. Only then you are entitled to go and appear for board examination, right? So once the syllabus are done, no child is entitled to stay at home. And we are going very, very meticulously on this regard. We have planned very, very nuances. We went very clear. So everything, every day is designed, used effectively. And we request parents community to cooperate along with us to execute the idea of this institution, right? So, and these 10th graders are also included in CCA activities, which happens to be on Saturdays only up to October ending. After that, they'll be absolutely confined to the academics because within 2 months or 3 months, they'll be going for board examination. The CCA activities, sports or library activities or whatsoever it might be, it is only confined up to October, right? All the home examinations must be attended because they have a value. Internal exams, they play a vivid role. So no skipping of any examination. And after the completion of syllabus in the month of December, we will segregate the students. This should not be done, but this will be done because to focus on the low scorers and to elevate the high scorers. Because the same style or methodology will not be applicable or pragmatic for everybody. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಒಂದೇ ಥರ ನಾವು ಕಲಿಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗುವಾಗ ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬರು ಏನೇನು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಆವಾಗ ನಾವು ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಈ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 6 months ಯಾವ ಥರ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ಅದನ್ನು ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ನಾವು ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಇನ್ ಎ ಹೈ ಸ್ಕೋರಿಂಗ್ group or a cluster of it, you have to start working now only, right? So there is no second grade approach for any kind of activity. Everything must be attended with highest zest and zeal, and revisions and internals all will matter. Attendance is very, very important. And when I say attendance, students right from first standard to 9th grade also, they have a habit of coming to exam when it is in the post lunch. 2 o'clock examination means morning they will not come, and they will come in the afternoon and write the examination. That kind will not be taken into consideration. If morning is exam and parents will come and pick up in the afternoon, that is not possible. Once the students come to school, 9 o'clock to 3:30, that's it. There is no second line. Writing the exam, going away. Coming on the exam time, writing away and going away. This is not at all considered. In fact, this is considered as an indisciplined action. Exam time, whatsoever it might be, what we design, that will be taken into consideration, and students must copy the same. They can't go like that, right? So this is all about the examination, 10th graders, and whatever I have spoken, you might be having some concerns, no doubt about it. And whatever I have spoken, it might be tasty for somebody, and it might be acerbic, means some kind of disturbances what I spoke to you. You can convey it. You can convey it through the student's diary or through your class teacher, and we'll discuss on that very extensively. And as I said to you earlier, the school must have a policy. For that matter, any public sector, they have a policy. For example, if you go to railway station, there is a railway timing. So when we are the subscribers of that traveling group, what is the time designed by the railways, we have to go there because they are discharging the duties or they are discharging a service to a group of people. Likewise, when we are discharging our idea or our schooling or our pattern, we must have a style. But if every parent comes to us and asks for do this way, do that way, then we will not have a policy, and our policy will be only acting what is your policy. So let us not have that. The school will have a policy, and based on that policy, we have to go. Or else, no, it is not possible to execute our idea. So please, parents, my dear parents, please take this into consideration. You can put your ideas across if it is benefiting the students' community at a larger extent. No doubt, if it is a pragmatic and plausible, definitely we'll take into consideration. Ano Badraha Kratavoyantu Vishwataha. Let knowledge come to us from every side. So if your point is very, very valid, and if it is possible for us to execute, definitely we'll do it. But if it is not possible, we have to rethink of it. So please don't think that whatever the ideas that we have put across, if it is not possible, don't take us wrong. It is an action of possible or not possible. Next slide, please. So that's all. We have resorted, or we have reached to the conclusion of the slide. And your support is absolutely pinnacle. And without you, we can't do anything. It's a four-way. It's a four-way cooperation where we can make schooling so beautiful and healthy. Healthy discussion, whatever you want to convey, please convey it. We are welcome for it, wide open, right? And your support throughout this days after I took the office is very, very commendable. My sincere gratitude for everybody for making me this. And we are also looking forward for the coming sessions that together we can build a great nation, right? Without you, it is not possible. Students, parents, teachers, management. It is quad way support, right? So without all of us, it's not possible. So let us build a strong nation. Let us make our children more beautiful and responsible, and make this. So make sure that we all will come together and build a strong nation. May God bless you and your family. May God bless JSS institutions. May God bless Mahabharat. Thank you. Thanks for having me with you. Thanks for being with me. Jai Hind. Namaste.